NCAA basketball totals for Friday, February 3rd. This segment where we look at college basketball games. We try to beat the odds makers either over or under the total. We got 2 games on the card today. Not a lot of action out there. Some interesting games though, and I'll talk about them in just a second. We also have our NBA segment that's going to be going on live, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. We were 2-1 in the NBA yesterday. We finally got hopefully something rolling just a little bit, and we almost swept, but that's okay. We'll take a profitable day in the NBA. NCAA was a little bit wonky. Right now, as I'm making this video, we got BYU and Gonzaga. It's just getting started, so I don't know how that's going to end up. But we caught a really rough break in an overtime game with Utah and California. As we did call it right, even after an overtime, we still had it right. But then they went to double overtime, and that killed our underplay. But that happens sometimes. We just got to take those in stride. Still having a good season in NCAA hoops. We're going to try and beat those odds makers today, either over or under the total. Actually, we're going to go an under and an over. In order as I talk about these. And don't forget, SBRpicks.com, sportsbook review, YouTube channel, Facebook page, that NBA segment, you got to tune into that. That's a lot of fun. We really enjoy, I really enjoy the feedback I'm getting from you guys during that segment. So be sure to tune into that. Yesterday, I gave out some spread plays. Spread plays were okay, but for the most NCAA spread plays were just terrible. I did not have a good day personally, but we kind of got some traction at least with some totals there in the NBA. Hopefully NCAA will work out tonight again. I still have a game going on right now as I'm making this. All right, here we go. First one up, we got Western Michigan and Central Michigan. Woo, 180.5 set by odds makers, and that's about right. But I'm going under. I'm going to go under. I could see why they set this total. Right now, Western Michigan averaging 74.7 points per game. That's not such a big deal. Central Michigan, they really get up and down the floor. They're averaging 87.5 points per game. They're 4th in the country in scoring. And, their attempts per game, they're 6th at 65.8, and they allow 69 attempts per game, which is basically last in NCAA hoops. They love to get up and down the floor. This is just a play I'm making basically on the number, that 180.5. They're going to have to shoot at an incredible rate the whole game. The pace will be pretty fast, but they're going to have to shoot very well along with that pace. And I think that's a little bit tough to do. Central Michigan plays no defense, and Western Michigan not much either. But when we look at their shooting percentages, you got Central Michigan, they're shooting just 42.5% overall this season. Western Michigan, 45.4%. That's not bad, but it ranks outside the top 100 teams. Defensively, Central Michigan pretty good in defending the 3 at least at 31.8%. Opponents shooting against them from range. Western Michigan's not very good defensively. This is definitely going to be up and down, and they are going to score a lot of points. I just don't think they get to 180.5. And if they do, my hat's off to them. I just think that's too many points, and I'm not going to buy into it. So I'm going to go ahead and back under that total, that 180.5. It's going to be a track meet, but I just don't think they get there. We can talk about it more. We can break it down, more if you want. We got Western Michigan right now. Central Michigan is going to go really fast. We know that. Western Michigan, they don't mind get up and down as well. But right now, you got Western Michigan. They're averaging 60 attempts per game. That ranks outside the top 50 teams. Their shooting efficiency is not that great. They do shoot the 3 decently well, but that's Central Michigan's, main point of contention. That's where they defend really well, is from beyond the arc, as they should, because they're defending from beyond the arc and they like to shoot the 3. They love to shoot the 3. They're getting up the third amount. Is it third? Yeah, 34.5 attempts per game. That ranks 3rd in NCAA hoops. So, Western Michigan, they don't defend the 3 really well. The game's at Central Michigan. When all is said and done, though, I just think the number is too big. When I see the statistics here in front of me in comparison to that number, it looks tempting because you want to see a fast-paced game and enjoy the contest, but I don't think they're going to get there. So I'm going to go back under that total. That's a lot of points. Again, more statistics to talk about, but I'm just going to stop right there on that one. Both teams, decent rebounding teams. So there's some interesting matchups. If Central Michigan could hold Western Michigan, to a decent number from beyond the arc and get a few stops here and there, I think they stay under. All right, that's it for that one. That's a tough one, but that's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. Next one, we got Rhode Island and Davidson. 141.5 set by odds makers. Since Davidson joined the A10, when they met up with Rhode Island, they've gone under the total each matchup. 141.5, 140, 141, and then 149.5. They've gone under every single time. Their last 2 matchups have been really low scoring, 65-54, 60-59. I think that's going to change tonight because both these teams can score. The game's at Davidson. I think they're going to get up and down. So I'm going to go over that 141 and a half. Let's talk about some stats here on these guys. I really like Bob McKillop. He's one of my favorite coaches. He's excellent X's and O's guy. Really good coach. Davidson's averaging 75.5 points per game. Rhode Island, 75.3. They could score. Rhode Island's got some athletes, too. Now, their scoring defenses aren't bad either. With Davidson allowing just over 70 points, Rhode Island they're usually the best defensive team in the A-10. Them and Dayton is also usually pretty strong. 66.6 points a game they're allowing. And their defensive percentages are not that bad. Opponents are shooting just 42% against them overall. Davidson, 41.2%. So defensively, they're pretty good. Tempo, I think, is going to be there. And both these teams can score. You got Rhode Island, they're averaging 46% from the floor. That's really solid. Davidson, solid as well, 44% from the floor. And they're at home. Let's not forget about that. Field goals made per game, you got Rhode Island, they're averaging 27.2 per game. That ranks around the top 50, and Davidson is not quite there at 25.6. But again, they do score better at home. 2-point percentage for Davidson, 52%. Rhode Island, 51.2%. I mean, they have athletes and they can score. 141.5. That seems just about right, set by oddsmakers. But I like for these two to get up and down tonight. Davidson, their last few games, we've seen them score some points. Let me tell you what I mean about that, and then I'll go ahead and move on with the day. But since they lost to Fordham, in which they played a horrible game, they scored 69 against a slow Virginia Commonwealth team. Then they scored 83 in a loss, 74, 84, 75. That's what we want to see. Now, they're facing a little bit tougher defense with Rhode Island, but they are at home, and I expect for them to score. So I'm going to go ahead and back over that total, 141.5, and that is it. Those are our two plays. Let's break them down one last time. Don't forget that NBA segment going on live. Chime on in. I love to hear your comments. Yesterday, somebody was against me on one play, and they were completely right, and that's great. So you guys can come in and give me some feedback, and we can disagree on stuff. That's the best part. I think when we disagree, I think there's more value in that as to why do we disagree. We don't need to argue. Let's all try to profit. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's break that down one more time. Yes, my battery is running low on this computer. We got Western Michigan, Central Michigan under the 180.5, Rhode Island, Davidson over the 141.5. Those are NCAA picks on the totals, which we are having a good season. We're going to continue to do so throughout March, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.